همچو مهر جاودان بشنو سوز سخنم.
Flight. The Iranian proverb, wear metal shoes and hold an iron staff, means to persist in doing something despite the challenges. The steel toe boots I wear symbolize my determination to seek justice. On January 8, 2020, Ukraine International Airline Flight 752 crashed shortly after taking off from Tehran airport. My nephew, Amir Hossein, son of my older sister, was one of the 176 passengers killed. He was on his way to Edmonton to do a PhD in mechanical engineering at the University of Alberta. Until that day, I had a relatively normal life, living in Karaj with my parents. After getting my degree in Persian literature from Azad University of Karaj and master degrees in German literature from Azad University of Tehran, I worked as a director of hairdressing school and storyteller in kindergarten for 10 years. But then my life changed forever. Our parents taught us that in addition to developing financial independence, we must defend our rights to justice, even though the slightest protest against the government in Iran can have terrifying consequences. Many protesters in Iran are tortured or killed in regime's horrific prisons. Despite this danger, thousands and thousands of people took to the street and chanted slogans against the government after the revelation that the Ukraine airline plane was shot down by the Iranian regime. Our family's mourning for Amir, calling out his name along with lighting candle and laying flowers in front of his photo on the street, was a protest against the government destruction of the plane as well as the operation inflicted on us for many years. The Iranian regime was afraid of the crime being exposed. It dealt harshly with those who took videos or photos of the protests. But I was determined to get justice for my sister's son. So I shared my videos of our street mourning ceremonies on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. There are many Persian channels outside of Iran that are critical of the regime. I met the director of one of these networks and sent my video to him as well. On the 40th day after the tragedy, one of them was included in a special program about my nephew. It received a lot of attention, which was my objective. But it also drew a negative attention to me. The first time, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard arrested me. They make threats and ask me to discontinue this campaign. But I continued. The second time I was arrested. I was sexually assaulted by 2 men. The memory still haunts me to this day. After the plane crash, experts from Ukraine and Canada came to Iran to investigate. But because Iran and Canada don't have a diplomatic relation, it was difficult for Canada to help us. However, the Canadian Minister of Foreign Affairs saw a video of my sister on social media holding her son's photo and immediately asked to meet her. My younger sister and her husband, who live in Germany, were able to contact the ministry through an American human rights activist. And Foreign Affairs appointed a person to handle our case. The Canadian government granted us asylum. We left Iran immediately, arriving in Edmonton on February 27, 2020. I lived with my sister and her family for a short time, then decided to live separately. A legend of ancient Iran, کاوه آهنگر, protested against the tyrant of his time. Inspired by this, I have decided to learn English so that I can share Amir's story and the story of the oppression of the Iranian people with the world. Thank you.